Hi there, so this is going to be my February plan with me for my bullet journal. As you can see, I already have my spacing cheat sheet out. If you watch Amanda Rachel Lee at all, you will have known that she has something very similar to this just to help with your spacing. The difference with mine is that I usually put mine on the periphery to cheat so that I can fold it up and pop it in the pocket at the back when I'm not using it. So for my cover page, I'm going for cherry blossom and hearts. It's very cliche for February, I know that. I've already outlined in pencil kind of idea of what I want to do. I found this inspiration on Pinterest, so I will link the page that I have in the description box to credit the artist who's originally done it. I'm going between two colours of a pink and a red, and then using my blender pen to accent the hearts and make them look more blurred like watercolours. I quite like that look in my bullet journal. I know that cherry blossom is really cliche in February, and hearts especially are really cliche in February, but in Scotland we don't actually have cherry blossom at this time of year. We've actually got daffodils, which are bright yellow, but I find that they work better for my March or April pages. It just doesn't feel right putting in bright yellow sunny flowers at this time of year because it's so cold in Scotland still. I quite liked how this came together. For the outline of the tree, I'm using one of the Pilot Friction pens, Pilot Friction Point. These are one of the pens that you can actually rub out if you make a mistake, which works fantastically for me because I am not perfect at getting things right in my bullet journal the first time. I do tend to use these. I usually will take one of these in my bag with me if I'm taking my bullet journal anywhere because I find it is easier if I make mistakes on the go. Rather than when I'm sitting down planning something, but they're just so useful. The outline of my tree ended up a bit more of a birch tree or something. It doesn't really look like a cherry blossom, but I quite like the way that it turned out. I just added a little hello February. I am doing freehand kind of hand lettering. I'm not very good at it. I'm still practicing. You'll also notice here that I cannot do freehand lettering with a brush pen so that you've got the nice thickness in your downstrokes, so I will go back in and fill them in. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how you get this look. If you're happy to spend the time filling it in to make it look how you want, then who cares? I have tried and practiced to do it properly and I just fail miserably every time. I made a mistake here, so I had to put a little sticker over the top, but I added in a little geometric heart. I done geometric hearts last year for my February plan with me, so I thought I would use them again just throughout this spread. Again, using my blending pen just to give a little bit more watercolour effect. Moving on to my monthly spread, I'm using pink and red accents at the top of each box. My boxes are 6x5 and I do use the Leuchtturm 1917 bullet journal. I have seen other people doing bullet journals and they are maybe slightly bigger than mine, and sometimes that works better for a monthly spread, but I don't mind. This suits me. It's big enough for what I need it for. I then went in to add some accents where I want to put some flowers, something to look a little bit like a peony. Again, I'm going to link a few things because I did take inspiration from Pinterest for my ideas this month. Even though they're not straight copies, I will link to the ones that I looked at. Again, taking my blender pen just to give that slightly watercolour effect. Now sometimes I watch bullet journals and people put monthly goals down the side. I have tried that before, but it doesn't really work for me. I find now I prefer just to make more of a statement with the actual name of the month rather than putting any notepads down the side or anything like that. So again, just went in with some kind of geometric heart shapes. I started to realise here that I was running out of room, so I had to make them a little bit smaller, and as you can see from the mistake on the front page, I had to get another sticker over this side. I find when using my blending pen, the quicker you can get in with it once you've actually drawn your outline, the better it works. Just adding some green accents now onto the floral patterns that I'd drawn. Now, some people might have a bit of a heart attack here when they see what I'm about to do, but I always freehand my boxes. I don't tend to use a ruler. I have one here, but whenever I use a ruler, I find when I'm drawing straight lines with it, if I move the ruler down, it drags the ink down a little bit and then causes a bit more mess. So I much prefer to just freehand. Sometimes I write the days of the week out in full, other times I just write the letters. As I say, my boxes are 6x5 and that suits me really well. This does take a bit of time doing, but I think it works really well. My monthly page is normally somewhere I can just put in my appointments and any of my shift work. I don't generally write tasks in here, so I don't feel a need to have lists and lists on this page. I then went into the floral patterns and kind of accented them in black to make them look a little bit more like a peony. I'm really pleased about how this turned out actually. I just freehanded it, and actually when I look at it now, I'm really happy with the result. Once I'd done that, I thought it would look better if they actually had stems rather than just being random floating flowers, so I drew that in as well. I outlined each one of my geometric hearts. And then I went in with the name of the month. For my next page, it will be my habit tracker. I'm just sticking with the pink accent colours here. This is my habit tracker from January. This is the first time I tried this style of habit tracker, but it seemed to work really well for me. I found that I kept up with it a lot better, having all of my habits individual rather than the classic style of them listed down one side. The vitamins one, as you can see, didn't go very well. I pretty much never took any vitamins at all, so I'm scrapping that one and moving the hair wash one because I like to track how often I wash my hair. I'm also going to add in a blank one so that if towards the end of the month I think actually that's something I would really like to track, then I can just add it in and then add it into the month of March. Doing this style of habit tracker does take a while. It is quite tedious, and I know that now you can go into Etsy and buy stickers with all of the dates or blank checked boxes so that you can actually just stick them into your bullet journal. But I used to use the stickers quite a lot with my Erin Condren planner, and I found that what happened was I would buy lots of stickers and then not use them all. So I actually prefer just taking the time to do this. It makes me feel a bit like I better use it because I've put all this effort into drawing it. I do 7x5 boxes, so there's 35 boxes. As you can see, when I started doing this, I kept writing 29-30 to continue the month, but February's such a small month, so I went back in and coloured in the boxes black, which aren't any days of the month. I then finished off my banner. So I'll be tracking my sleep, my water intake, my workouts, Times 4 blood means my blood sugar. Pump change. Yoga. Any day where I don't spend any money. Any day where I don't wear makeup. Any day where I don't drink alcohol. I'm trying to read more often, so I want to track that as well. And my hair wash. But I will leave the other one blank. On the opposite page, I'm going to do February aims. Now, as I explained in my January layout, I'll put a link up so you can go and see that if you want. When I laid out my bullet journal, I decided to have yearly aims. What I've found is that at the front of my bullet journal, that list of yearly aims is just getting longer and longer. So for this month, I decided to pop in some monthly aims in conjunction with the ones that I have at the start of my bullet journal to try and achieve the yearly ones. I just went in with these little 3-box hearts again, just for my bullet points. So my first 2 February aims are geared towards keeping my aim of keeping my HbA1c or my blood sugars in control. The one for the new class is to try some sort of new either exercise class or hobby class, basically to keep in line with keeping my blood sugar in check. But also one of my other yearly aims was to try and meet new people and be less closed off to meeting new people. So I thought trying one new class would be quite good. I'm trying to have less screen time in the evenings. Find not being on my phone right before I go to bed helps me sleep better, and it also keeps in line with my aim of reading more this year. So the month of February starts on a Friday, so it's a really short week. So I'm going to use one page to just do a really small spread, and then the page on the right hand side I'm going to use for notes for a future video. The boxes on my weekly spread are normally bigger than this, but because I only wanted to have in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I made them slightly skinnier, but they still work for what I need them for. I still included my activity log, but just for the 3 days. I then drew in a little kind of notepad. I find in between the months where you're coming to the end of one month and going into another, that's the only time I really ever put a note box, because that's when I need to remember to carry things forward from the last month. I need to remember that there are things coming up in February to pop in. Generally I don't put a notepad on my weekly spreads, but it's useful towards the end of the month. I just made this look like a little jotter that was dog-eared. I quite like that actually. I've done that before in my bullet journal and it's quite cute. I find having an activity log is something that really motivates me to actually do some work, because I hate seeing that box being blank every week. This page is just notes for a future video that I've got coming up, so I left that blank and I'll fill it in later. And on these 2 pages I'll do my proper weekly spread. My daily boxes in my weekly spread are 11 by 18, which might seem a little bit big for some people, but I generally like to write quite a big to-do list. I like to add all my colour on first before I put my outlines on. I find if I put my black outline on then use any of the blending pen, it just bleeds everywhere. I hate that. I really like these cute little geometric hearts. I started drawing some normal hearts as well, that I thought would just work better throughout the spread. As I say, my daily boxes are quite big, but it works really well for me. I quite like to kind of document everything I'm doing in a day. Some days they're empty because if I'm at work, then I don't document anything, but I really find it useful to have a bigger space to write in. And this is my activity log for the week. Every day I draw a little set of footprints, which helps me count my steps every day as well. My phone already does that, but I just log it in to actually see how active I've been each day. And in the space next to it, I write if I've been to the gym or done yoga, and usually what I've done at the gym. And I just finished it off putting the dates of the week in the hearts. And that is my February spread. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm quite pleased with how it came out. There are some bits that I would like to get better at, like my hand lettering. There are little bits that I would like to change, but I'm still pleased with how it came out. I'm really pleased with how this spread came out here. I'm really pleased with the monthly spread. I love my little peonies. I think they're really nice. In my next weekly spread, I might actually add them in. I love my habit tracker. I'm going to keep doing that. And I really like this idea of bringing my aims forward to keep on track. Obviously, this was just a little half week, but then my full week, I'm really pleased with as well. I really like that. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was useful and you can get some inspiration from it. I really hope you've enjoyed watching. And please subscribe. You can follow me over on Instagram and you can follow me over on Twitter. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.